Shout out to Cam Newton and Charleston White for linking up. And this is an American classic right here. This is something that people of all races should tune into. Do not just chalk this up to ninjadom. It is, but this is very what I'm going to show you here, just a segment of that interview. I'm going to show you something that's going to save some people's lives. It might be far for me to say something like this, but I think this part right here. I'm going to save a lot of y'all ninjas some trouble. It's right here. They're going to talk about Brittany Renner. She's just going to pop up, and Cam Newton is going to ask Charleston White for some OG advice how to handle a woman like Brittany Renner. And Charleston White was straight up, gave an OG answer, and Cam Newton reacted like a simp. I'm going to play just the segment. I think it's about a minute long, probably should be about 2 minutes long. I'm just going to let it play, and then I'm going to break it down for you. And what I'm going to show you, I promise you, it's going to save your life. When I show you this, I've never said this about any of the other stuff I've put out, but I promise you, this is going to save your life, because there are way too many men, sometimes just off of instinct. What Charleston White is going to say, initially, you're going to think that he's just over-exaggerating. He's not over-exaggerating. He's not wrong. But you gotta hear him out. You gotta hear him out.
Yeah. Hi.
Could you take Brittany Renner serious?
Yeah, nigga. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Shit, yeah.
Could you have a child with Brittany Renner?
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me some free game. Like, how would you approach a woman like Brittany?
You gotta handle her rough. You gotta be a dominant man.
Fair use. Hopefully I won't have to do that throughout the clip.
And to deal with Brittany Renner.
When you say rough, you're not talking about domestic violence, right?
Yeah, domestic violence.
No, man, no.
Yeah, well, you asked, nigga. I'm telling you, yeah, you got to see one of them ones. You got to kick in the ass sometime. Slap her across her head, bitch. Sit down somewhere.
No.
Man, ain't being Uncle Curtis done it, and they stayed together 40, 50 years. All good relationships, somebody got to take an ass kicking somewhere in the relationship. That's the only way y'all gonna stay together.
Right. We're gonna cut that out.
Man, ask that. Man, everybody got to whoop. Man, you can't tell nigga you can't whoop his.
Fair use.
Hoe when she getting out of line. She the kind of hoe you got to
So
whoop.
the woman that you was with, you put your hands on your woman?
I will if she take me down.
No. Have you ever put your hands on your ex-wife?
No.
Okay, thank you. So all that shit that you talking is
I done slapped the shit out of my baby mama.
Huh?
Yeah, I done slapped the shit out of my baby mama. Driving, bitch. Yeah. Hell yeah, I done open here and slap the shit out of. Yeah, hell yeah, I slap the shit out of my bitch.
No.
That's my bitch.
No.
Man, you deal with your bitch. You discipline your hoe how you discipline yours. I'm gonna discipline mine how I discipline mine. And yeah, man, you got to kick some of them in their ass. I wouldn't give a damn what now.
I just put like, look, I'm telling you.
Granddad and them said that.
I'm telling you.
Fair use. Charleston White, wilded boy. He wild. But he's saying some real shit right here.
You as a man, and I gotta hold you accountable. If I were to ever see you put a hand on a woman, it'd be a hard time for me to see that, Charleston. Just real shit.
Just be willing to go to jail or go to hell if you get in fact me and my bitch. Nigga, I go with my brother, you better leave me alone about me and my bitch. Nigga, you better go home. Nigga, it's me and my hoe. You better stay out of this.
And then,
that's how niggas die.
That's cool.
Me or you gotta die about this bitch.
And it's chances.
And now both our mamas sad.
The Vegas odds got me winning that fight.
Man, this ain't about no fight, nigga. We got to die behind my bitch. You interfering with me and
you
my bitch.
You don't even love her.
Nigga, I love my bitch.
How you gonna love her and you gonna put your hands on her?
Same reason you whoop your kids and tell them you love them and this why you doing this.
No.
It ain't no different. So think about this concept. You tell your children, I'm doing this because I love you, so why I can't whoop this hoe?
And that's why I'm gonna whoop your ass, because I love you, because I'm telling you, I have to tell you that ain't right. So I'm gonna whoop your ass and send you on your way.
Marvin Gaye had to kill his daddy, or his daddy killed his son for one of them for getting in fuck about that bitch. That's how. Don't get in that, man.
Listen,
don't get in that.
If I see a person putting their hands on a woman, I'm gonna put my hands on them because I love them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you that ain't.
I'm
we not
shooting
doing
out.
Fair use.
Anger. Yeah, I'm shooting out anger. Man, nigga ain't got no business getting in my business. What I'm saying, it's my bitch. Nigga, you better leave us alone. Now everybody finna die. Cause you want now your kids finna be without their father cause you want to save this bitch.
I'm gonna be at home.
You don't know that.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna be at home.
Because what ends up happening, it's always the good guy that loses his life. It ain't never the bad. We don't watch this situation hold, so that's why I don't get in domestic shit. If I see a nigga whooping this bitch, I mind my business.
Yeah, that's some sucker shit.
Cause I done got in far before and the bitch say, it's all right, Blue. Oh, okay, shit. This what they do. Let me get out of this. This what they do.
No. Because I'm speaking. I'm speaking for the fathers. I got daughters.
I do too.
And I'll be so if
Fair
somebody
use. And we're going to leave it at that. All right, we're gonna rewind it to 211, right? And I hope you guys paid attention because what he's describing right here, you know what? I'm gonna put it on me because I think you guys have heard enough. What Charleston White described right there, that information that he just gave you right there, that's life-saving. That is life-saving information. I've already had a couple of videos about this. I've already talked to you about, domestic violence, just the real dynamics between that. The dynamics between when you seeing a couple getting into it in real life, how you're really supposed to just leave that alone. It's none of your business. I've talked about this before, but we might have some new listeners coming through. So I am going to tell you guys like this. When Charleston White was asked right there, Cam Newton asked him, how do you handle a Brittany Renner? He gave you the right answer right there. Brittany Renner, if she was born at a different time, she would have just been a girl on the track. One of those girls, probably dancers back in the day, right? Pimp would have found her, real dominant pimp, you know what I mean? Real strong with the hand. And she would have just fell in line. She should have done good on the track. One of them corporate people, one of them simp R&B stars from back in the day, in the 70s, 80s, R&B star type dude, it's a terrible cycle. But when he's talking about handling her rough, she's the type of girl, she only responds to that. Meaning, you see how Brittany Renner acts in public. You see how she's breaking down, lashing out, saying crazy stuff, writing books about openly trapping ninjas. You know what I'm saying? How NBA players are the dumbest ones out of the bunch, right? The only way to put somebody like Brittany Renner in line is if the guy is that masculine where it's on the verge of domestic violence. So when Cam Newton said, "What, you mean like domestic violence?" Yes. That's why girls like Brittany Renner, you're really supposed to stay away from them because she's going to cause so much trouble in your life. Because it's not a matter of, because she obviously needs to be handled. But the problem is with women like Brittany Renner, right? She is, at the end of the day, she's going to be the victim to the normies. The normies are going to see you get into it. They're going to interfere, right? Or Brittany Renner takes that L, you open hand her, right? She calls her brothers and her shadow con of simps to approach you. Now, say dude has a gun. Now 2 people are dead. Or 1. And 1 seriously wounded. Why? Because of the chaos that she brings overall. She can't leave well enough alone. She can't act right. We're seeing this with Brittany Renner. This is why Charleston White is telling you, girls like that, you'll see them in the you see this all the time. People trying to step in to rescue her, but she really doesn't need rescuing. This is how she is. Not only it's like that's the only way to handle her. That's how she likes to be handled, right? So the normies don't understand the dynamics behind it. So when you see like a couple out in public doing this kind of stuff, right, where they're acting out, he's openly physically abusing her in public. You really have I always tell people, leave that alone. I tell dudes, leave that. I don't care what these other dudes say. Man, you ain't no real man if you don't step in. Bro, you got a family. Chalk that up to the game and leave that girl alone. She asked for it. That's how you got to look at it. It's rough. It's rough advice, right? Now, when we see Cam Newton's reaction is, very typical of physically gifted dudes. Cam Newton's no small dude, guys. Like, Cam Newton is legit 6'5". He might be 6'6". He's legit. That size that they got him, he's bigger than that. No joke. He's that big. Like, I remember when he walked up on Kevin Benjamin's fat ass, that wide receiver that ate himself out of the league. Kevin Benjamin 6'5", but when Cam Newton walked, and I really looked at them next to each other, and Cam Newton had his hands behind his back, trying to talk to him, and that's, unfortunately, like same guys like Tariq Nasheed, these guys, they're big dudes, so they think they could just talk to people, right? Those are the guys when. Like those are the kind of the worst people to ask for advice sometimes when it comes to like talking to women or talking to people, because they have a natural charisma, and not only like, when you talk about Cam Newton, Tariq Nasheed, these guys, they have a natural charisma, so they think they can just solve most problems, and they can, as long as guns are not involved. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So Cam Newton is that type of dude. He'll try to talk to you, right? But in his case, he has to really show out and be like, no. I don't want no man putting their hands around. And maybe around him, men won't try to pull it if he sets that standard. But most people are not Cam Newton, right? So, yes, Cam Newton says that, but even then, it don't matter who you are. Guns ain't no joke, though. You don't know who's packing. So you cannot just rush in on people talking about unhand this lady, and all that. You cannot do that. You just cannot do that. I'm talking to the average man, even I will say especially to the young men out there that are physically gifted, more physically gifted than the average. If you see, I'm talking to you, Juiced Up Johnny, that that ask a lot of questions and shit. I'll tell you this: if you see dudes running up on you, and you're a physically gifted person, and all of a sudden you see some dudes running up on you, they have a gun. that is some life-saving advice. I'm telling you, people are not that brave. People are not that brave. Trust me. Like, I remember, like, when I was a kid, like, I'm telling you, it'll be what I went through as a kid is this. The normies will do foul shit, right? And then you'll have the bigger kids do foul shit to you. And because of their status, or they're bigger than you, whatever, they will do that, and people will not call them out for doing foul stuff because they were so afraid of them. But then if you, the normal person, does put a foot wrong, then they try to yell at you and try to put you in your place. But I was the type of dude, I'm going to go at the source of the problem, no matter who you were. And people don't like to go at the source because they know there's consequences to that. That's why I always say people know who to choose. But I was crazy like that when I was a kid. Like I remember literally going at a fifth grader that was way bigger than me, going in, giving him the black eye just to prove a point. That's how I worked as a kid. Most people are not brave enough to do that. All right. I also, in the game soccer, in the game I play, you'll see small dudes all the time out muscling bigger dudes. Soccer is a very fair sport in that respect. Your height does not matter. Whether you're 6 feet tall, 5 feet tall, it don't matter. It's about your feet. So, and the only time it matters is if you're playing goalkeeper and center back. And these are the two positions nobody on the field wants to play anyways. So it's a fair sport. So I am used to seeing people that are just bigger than them, or I understand, like I grew up around in an environment where your height does not really matter, or who it's about your skill, who's the most skilled, right? So I'm used to attacking the source of the problem. So I'm telling the people that are physically gifted, right, around the world, if you see, most people are not that brave. When you see people running up on you, they got guns. If in your best case scenario, they have a knife or something, and you got to watch out with that, because a knife, you're not gonna know you're stabbed until you stab. You're not going to see it coming. Yo, this is life-saving advice. I'm telling you guys, because what women like to do is they know who to tell. They'll start ish with certain dudes, then go back to the other side and act like they were the victim, and they always choose the biggest dudes that they can find. And it's almost like they're playing a game. Now you running up on the other dude, you don't know what the hell's going on. And now you're going in there, you get hurt trying to protect this girl's name or her honor. Now people are dead. This stuff happens so many times. It's so easy for me to identify the source of the problem. So it's too easy. It's too easy to identify the source of the problem. Brittany Renner's a problem. And she is going to, the only way somebody's going to put her in her place is if she get hit, right? Give you another example. In the interview, and you see later on how Charleston White is literally telling him, yo, do not interfere with when the couples are going through it. Do not interfere. And he was giving you guys real game, how it goes. I will say, he was talking about how in most relationships, people get their hands put on them. Guys, I'm going to keep it real with you. In the average long-term relationship, somebody has had, I will say 70% of long-term relationships, and we talking about, when I mean long-term relationship, I mean, that's got to be over 15 years, right? That's what I consider a long-term relationship, and maybe in American years, over 10 years. That will be considered a long-term relationship. It's got to be over 10 years plus. But for me, it has to be 15 to 20 years. That's what I would consider a long-term relationship. But in those relationships, and I'll say in 70% of them, someone has had their hands put on them, whether it be by the wife or by the husband, or by the girlfriend or the boyfriend, or the boyfriend or the boyfriend, the girlfriend, and even when you talk about domestic violence in lesbian relationships is very high, very high. I think the highest out of all the relationships. In gay couples, I'm pretty sure it's high, but I don't know if it's definitely not as high as the lesbians. But guys, in long-term relationships, people get their hands put on them. This happens a lot. It's not uncommon. And if I'm wrong about the 70%, I will say it's got to be at least no lower than 40%. And that's still a high percentage. No lower than 40%. 40%. No lower than 40%. I promise you that. Those like long-term relationships are not as hunky-dory and kumbaya in most situations. It's not. A lot of situations, people get their hands put on them. Right. Not saying it's right, but this happens. This is why Charleston White was very clear here. You cannot interfere in these things. When you see, you see a couple going through it, you got to leave it alone. You got to leave it alone. And we all know the Brittany Renner types. We all seen them before. Talking a lot of ish, cause a lot of problems. They don't realize the collateral damage that happens when you deal with a Brittany Renner type. You already saw it. Look how vehemently Charleston White and Cam Newton disagreed on that particular subject. Now, to the normies, it would look like they would come to blows. But that's how much chaos that one girl, the chaos. This is why when you're talking about girls like Brittany Renner, she really needs a pimp, like a cold-hearted pimp to keep her in reality. And really, above all else, really, to keep her in her place.